and welcome to the Passenger Seat Podcast, a podcast designed to fill your passenger seat with chat about classic cars, all recorded from my 1968 Morris Minor Peggy. I'm Becca, and today you might notice that we're actually in the garage. This time last year we recorded our very first and only podcast from the garage because Peggy had quite a troublesome January that actually started with her snapping her accelerator cable and then some other stuff, and then eventually catching fire after she misfired through the carb and the air filter core that I light. And that meant that there was a very frantic week to try and get her back up and running, and eventually we got there and I recorded a podcast right here in the garage to let you all know to buy a fire extinguisher and what had happened. Since then, we've had a fantastic year of motoring, some highs, some lows, and some really interesting stuff that I've been involved in, that I've been able to kind of bring to your attention. Some new things set up, like the Women Drivers Social Club, an engine swap. Just so much exciting stuff happened in 2023. It was such a big highlight for me as an individual, in my ownership of Peggy, and also for all the stuff that was able to kind of get done and hopefully improve the classic car scene for as many people as possible. Unfortunately, this year we are in the garage because, not of Peggy, but because of myself. Since the 29th of last month, I was out for the count for about 5 days, was very not kind of well. I had some moments where I picked up a little bit on New Year's Eve, thankfully, but overall not that well. I've got this horrible coldy flu thing that's been going around, and I've been really fortunate that work has allowed me to do a lot of my work from home at the beginning of January, but I have not been able to get out and record a podcast. I try and record stuff in advance, get some things booked up, but I recorded my interview with Jeff just before Christmas and then kind of took a little bit of a break so that I could think about what I wanted to record in the new year, and then didn't really get a chance to record anything because I've been ill. I'm on the mend, and we're really looking forward to eventually getting out. This is the first time I've sat in Peggy since last year. And so it's going to be great to get out in Peggy and enjoy her. But in the meantime, I'm taking the opportunity to rest and stay cosy in the garage and tell you about what a fantastic year we had last year, and also some of the exciting stuff that we've got coming up this year. So where do we start? Last year, wow. So many achievements, and it was so great to be able to have this podcast to reflect on them as they happened, to share them with you, and also spend time at the beginning and end of each season kind of wrapping up that period within my ownership. We had probably some great highs, like going to the RAC, the 75th anniversary of the Morris Minor, setting up the Women Drivers Social Club, having 2 stands at the NEC go so well, and just getting some fantastic guests on the podcast, telling some stories that I really wanted to tell for a long time. It really was a very fantastic year for Peggy, myself, the podcast. We had some lows, the fire being one of them, the need to swap the engine out being another one, her not making it to her first show because of what happened with the engine. That was the first time that she'd missed out on a show that she was supposed to be there at, which was quite something to wrap my head round. But overall, definitely one of the best years. And even those things that didn't go well, like the engine swap, have been huge learning curves for me. And that's what classic car ownership is all about, is learning and getting hands-on with stuff. I know if you've been watching and listening to the podcast for a while, you'll remember my disaster oil change, and to think that we've gone from that to me doing an engine swap with the help of some friends and family and being able to understand how that works is a huge change, and I'm so proud that we've been able to do that. and that I've learned so much about it, and it made me feel a lot more confident that I understand how all of the engine and stuff works. And that leads kind of nicely into what we've got to look forward to this year. 2024 is going to be a big year for a lot of things. Most notably for me is going to be that there's going to be a period of time where I'm not going to have Peggy. Mechanically, she's going fantastic, and I'm really enjoying driving her on this new engine, and we're having a fantastic time. But as we're driving her, things are starting to really show up in her bodywork. Kind of from about, I would say, September of last year, things really deteriorated, particularly on the passenger side wings, where the rot is getting really bad. But luckily, I knew that this was coming, and about September of 2022, I spoke with a gentleman about getting her kind of restored and improved, and her bodywork kind of back up to tip-top condition. And so end of March, beginning of April, she's going to go away for approximately 2 months, could be a little bit longer, to get kind of stripped down, new wings, all the welding done that she needs, and start again, have some fresh shiny bodywork to enjoy her 55th year with us. So it's going to be a really interesting change. I'm going to have to get used to not having her in the garage for a long time. I might have to look into bringing a new car into the fleet in some way, shape or form to fill the gap while she's away. I've got to get used to not getting attached to that car because we can't realistically keep them for a very long time. So really getting in the kind of Christmas car mindset from a few podcasts ago rather than a forever car mindset. So that's something that's going to be a big change. I am really lucky that where it's being done is kind of 25-30 minutes away from me. So I can realistically go and check up on her quite frequently. And I'm hoping to record and take some photos of her progress so that you can kind of see what's been done, what had to be done, and the end result. I'm hoping to make a couple of changes inside as well. As far as we know, the door cards, the carpets, the seats and everything in here is the original stuff that left the factory. And while some of it's held up well, like the back seat that probably hasn't had that much use, things like the carpets and the seats in the front have really started to wear. So those will be things that I'll be looking to improve to match the exterior of the car. I'll also be looking to add a few things into her that kind of add to her being my car. There are a lot of late Trafalgar blue Morris Minors, and so I want to make a few tweaks to make her stand out a little bit in the same way that I have with the red wheels and the red steering wheel, just kind of tie her all together a little bit more. So really looking forward to that. And it's going to be a really interesting thing to experience, a restoration of a car like that. We've also got some fantastic events that we can look forward to. We're really fortunate that we're going to spend a lot of time at the British Motor Museum this year with Morris Minor Owner Club National Day happening there, with Rustival that's hosted by Steph and Matt Furious and the Hubnuts. And then I've got a full calendar of stuff organised for the Women Drivers Social Club, and the young members calendar is in progress with lots of exciting stuff to look forward to, because we really want to build on the success of going to such fantastic places last year with the young members. So lots to look forward to, and hopefully some experiences of new cars and new driving experiences and places to go to look forward to this year. And I also would like to see the community that we've built around the little podcast grow a little bit as well. We've done really well, and to see the kind of YouTube numbers creeping up and the numbers on Spotify and stuff like that creeping up wherever you're listening to it on have been fantastic. And so I've got a couple of personal goals to see it reach hopefully this year, which would be fantastic, and would be a great way to kind of celebrate such a landmark year in my ownership with Peggy. So if you do enjoy listening, please share maybe your favourite episode from the over 100 episodes that we've got now with someone who you think will enjoy it. In the meantime, I'm going to go and look after myself a little bit and get this all uploaded for you guys to have a listen to. And I will be back next week with a really fantastic report on our exciting weekend in Loughborough with the Women Drivers Social Club. It's going to be a good one. It's a really exciting place. It's Stonehurst Farm, or I think it's called. And there's a motor museum there, and it's kind of our Christmassy meet, but we thought we'd do it in January to help improve people's outlook on January, to cheer everybody up after the Christmas. So really looking forward to that, and there should be a fantastic collection of cars. We're going to have our biggest attendees ever, so that should be brilliant. In the meantime, thank you ever so much for listening. Thank you for sticking with us. Drive safely and happy motoring.